It was actually a really nice transmitter, but I think I sat on it or I kneeled on it or something and it broke. So instead of buying that, I went ahead and purchased this discount car stereo Bluetooth receiver for the C5. Alright, so the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the center console. While you're watching a quick montage of that, I'm going to quickly cover a little bit about what I did before I had the Bluetooth and why I went with this Bluetooth receiver. So right up front, I used an FM transmitter. This is actually, I was really happy with this FM transmitter. Unfortunately, it recently broke. As you can see, the actual 3.5 millimeter plug is snapped in half. So with that being said, I wanted to go ahead and upgrade. I was actually going to buy another one of these, but I decided, you know what, I might as well just spend $100, get a Bluetooth receiver. Eventually, I do want to do a sound system overhaul, in which case I would buy a new head unit. But at the current time, I don't foresee me doing that for at least another 2 years minimum. So I figured for $100, this Bluetooth receiver was worth it. It has good reviews. I know a couple of Corvette enthusiasts out there use this exact system. Now, the nice thing about this system as opposed to the earlier model systems is this system no longer requires you to run a separate power wire down to the fuse box, which is excellent. I don't have to reroute that. So I am going to include this exact version down in the description. I do not have the 12 disc CD changer. If you do, there's another version you're going to have to purchase. You can find that on Discount Car Stereo's website. But I am going to include this down in the description, as well as the FM transmitter I use, just in case you want to go ahead with that one. Again, it lasted me 3 years, really, on that FM transmitter, and it's a really good product, but it is time for an upgrade. So let's go ahead and, actually, I'm going to stop the montage, and we're going to talk about what we're doing next. So let's go ahead. All right, so what I've done so far is I've removed the bezel as well as the HVAC unit. Now, you don't have to remove the HVAC unit to get to the radio. I just did it because I'm going to be doing some work on the HVAC unit as well. But we are going to take the radio out and work behind there. You're going to need 7 millimeter to remove the radio and 10 millimeter to remove the bezel. So let's go ahead and just pull this radio out. So we're going to disconnect this 20-pin connector over here. Go. All right, so this version from Discount Car Stereo no longer requires us to run a wire down to the fuse box under the passenger floor well, which is really nice. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to connect the pin we just removed from the radio to the adapter on the new blue C5. Go. And then using our box, our Bluetooth box, we want to make sure pins 3 and 8 are down. That's called on. And we're going to go ahead and connect these two together. Go. And finally, we're going to take our harness and we're going to go ahead and install this into the back of the radio. All right, now with it plugged in the back, I'm going to neatly tuck, I'm going to double check 3 and 8 are on. I'm going to neatly tuck the Bluetooth receiver back behind the bezel and everything. Kind of hold the wires back there as I slide this in. All right, now with the radio in, before I button everything up, super neat and solid, I am going to turn the car on and I'm going to double check that I can get the Bluetooth to work. So let's go ahead and do that right now. And you do want to make sure that the radio is on. That was my mistake. Gonna pair it. I hear a sound coming out of the radio, so let's double check.
Am I angry about it? No, not at all. Certainly don't take this video.
And that's my last video on YouTube.
Telling you what it cost me to own.
Very nice. So now I have Bluetooth in the car. Very cool. Super easy installation. I'm just going to button the radio back in. Again, I'm doing a little bit more work down on other stuff, so for now I'm not going to button the whole thing up. But with Bluetooth in the car, this is great. I actually, you know, honestly, I did this because most of the time I'm either listening to Spotify or I'm listening to a podcast on the way to work in the morning. And I had this old thing somewhere around here, the FM transmitter. It was actually a really nice transmitter, but I think I sat on it or I kneeled on it or something and it broke. So instead of buying that, I went ahead and purchased this discount car stereo Bluetooth receiver for the C5. So all things considered, it's a super easy installation. I definitely think it's worth it. It cost me about $100. Now I did purchase the add-on remote, which is optional. I think without the remote, it's like $15 less or so. Really up to you whether you want to do the remote. I did the remote because otherwise you have to change it on your phone. And this way with the remote, I can just push the button and the next track or whatever have you will play. So I really do highly suggest this. I think it's a great system so far. Hopefully it stays working and everything goes well. I'll have a review for you in a couple months, hopefully, and, you know, just let you know how everything's going. And with that being said, I will see you on the next episode.